All right, year 7, I'm going to have a look at exercise 8E, which is multiplying. So the first thing you need to be able to do, now I'm only going to do multiplying, I'm going to make another video on dividing. So there are two sets of things you have to do here. So I'm just going to look at the multiplying. Now, with multiplying, you only have to do questions 5, 6, and 7. So here we go. First of all, when you multiply terms in algebra, if you've got two terms, so let's say you've got m times n, so we don't have to write as much. Mathematicians go, well, let's eliminate the multiplication sign, and whenever we see two pronumerals together, we know they're multiplying. So you can just get rid of it. It's a form of abbreviation. It's a form of understanding, knowing that when you have two pronumerals beside each other, in between them, it's missing, but it's still there. We don't write it, but it's still there, is a multiplication sign. And the same is if we have a number. So if we have 3 times b, we don't need the b. We can write 3b. We don't need to write the multiplication sign. So if we look here at question 5, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do, again, the last column. So here we go, and I'll do them right beside it. So now the first thing you need to know is if there are any numbers, you multiply them first. So there are no numbers, even though there really is a 1 there and a 1 there. But 8 times 1 is 8. So we'll leave the 8 out the front. And then we can go, all right, we have an A and a B. Well, we don't need the multiplication sign. We can just write 8AB, and we know that's 8 times A times B. In the next one, well, there are two numbers here. And remember, it doesn't matter what order you multiply. So we'll do the numbers first. 2 times 5. Well, that's 10. And then I'm just left with a B. So I can just write it. I don't need to write the multiplication sign. Hey, we're getting a bit tricky now. Look at this. Do the numbers first. 7 times 3 times 2. Well, 7 times 3 is 21. And 2 times 21 is 42. And then I'm left with an A and a B. And it's all multiplied, so I'll just write AB. I don't need the multiplication sign. It's very easy. Here we go again. Do the numbers first. 7 times 12. Well, 7 12s are 84. You can use your calculator if you need, but it'd be good if you could do it in your head. And then I'm left with an A, a B, and a C, and they're all multiplied. Well, that's easy. We'll write them in alphabetical order. A, B, C. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Let's have a look down here at some of these. The last column of question 6. Do the numbers first. 2 times 4. 8. And there's only one letter, it's an E, so I'll just write the E there. You see if you can do them on your own. If you can do them, off you go. But you might need to come back for the next question. 7 times 9. Well, 7 times 9 is 63. And then I write the letters. And I really do prefer to write them in alphabetical order. So I'm going to write E, G. Here we go again. Do the numbers first. 3 times 4. Remember, there is a 1 in front of that A, but 1 times anything is itself. 3 times 4 is 12. And then I just write the letters. A, B, C. Here we go on this one. 2 times 3 times 4. Well, 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 4 is 24. And now I write the letters. C, B, A, D. Well, that's not very good. I want them in alphabetical order, so I'll write them alphabetically. A, B, C, D. And that's just how we write them standardly, or in a standard form. Now, there's something you need to know. If before you go on to question 7, you need to go and watch the PowerPoint on the website on exponents. In it, it goes through what happens when we multiply something by itself. So, for example, 2 times 2, actually I shouldn't choose 2, I might choose a different number. Let's go 3 times 3. Well, there's a way of writing that. We say, well, that's 3 times itself, 3 squared. If you wanted to be really tricky, you'd write, well, that's 1 3. Now, if I go 3 times 3 times 3, a quick way of writing that is 3 cubed. Or if I did 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, that's 3 to the 4. And this is what we call index notation. And you actually already know about it. For example, if you said someone had $1 million, someone might say, well, that's 10 to the power of 6, which is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which we know is a 1 and 6 zeros. It's just a quick way of writing the same multiplication, or something multiplied by itself lots and lots. Now, if you go and watch the exponents on that, or if you're happy with that explanation, most of the time you're just going to be dealing with squares. So let's go down here and look at these. And again, it's multiplication, so we do the numbers first. There is a 1 there. 3 times 1 is 3. Now, D times D, you might say, I'm just going to write DD. But that's not exactly correct. That's not how we'd like to write it. We know that a number times itself is squared. And because a pronumeral is a number, we can do the same. We can call that 3D squared. Let's have a go here. There is a 1 in front of that Q. 3 times 1 is 3. And Q times Q is Q squared. Okay, last one. Do the numbers. 4 times 9, 36. And R times R is R squared. If you've got that concept, you're pretty good. You need to go and finish all of questions 5, 6, and 7. I've just done the last column. You see if you can do the rest. Good luck.